This video is for Black women who are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by, or not getting by, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. This video is actually for anyone that is in that situation, but particularly Black women, because I'm a Black woman, as you can see. By the way, I'm Shantae Charles, and I'm making this video because I want to encourage Black women, particularly, that if you are struggling, barely getting by, not getting by, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, I want to encourage you to move. Move to somewhere where it is affordable. The cost of living is more affordable than where you live. The wages are higher than where you live, and where you can get ahead financially. Forget your broke family and friends. You heard me right. Forget your broke family and friends, because they can't help you anyway. But what I noticed in the Black community is some of us, not all of us, but some of us have the tendency of holding our family members and friends back and holding them hostage to our dreams and desires and wants. And I say that because I'm Black. And as I stated before, I live in North Dakota. When I first got ready to move out here, people were so discouraging. They kept saying, well, are there any Black people there? And I told them, I don't know. I don't know if there's any Black people there, but there's about to be 2 Black people there. And I was referring to myself and my then boyfriend, now my husband. I was referring to us because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Prior to moving here, I was living in Georgia. I had moved back home with my parents because prior to that, I was living in Florida. I owned a home. I thought I was going to lose my home to foreclosure. Thank goodness I didn't. I was able to sell it, but that's another story and for another video for another time. But family and friends knew that I was in Georgia, that I was struggling, trying to get by, looking for a job, living at home, could not make ends meet. If it was not for my parents, I would have been homeless. And that is not an exaggeration. If it was not for my parents, I would have been homeless. But people knew my financial situation. But still, when they found out that I found a job here, the job was going to pay for me to relocate here. The job was paying more money than if I had a job or found a job in the same field in Georgia. The job here in North Dakota was paying more, that I would be able to live on my own, be self-sufficient, get my own apartment, even though they knew that all they were stuck on was, is there any Black people there? Or it gets cold there. Who cares? Who cares? And oh, you shouldn't move there. Now, I was grown, fully grown, when I moved here. And one of my family friends was telling my mom, oh, she shouldn't do that. You shouldn't let her move there. Well, first of all, how was my mama going to stop me? I'm grown, okay? Grown. And instead of being happy, oh, she found a job. She's going to be able to get on her feet, become self-sufficient. She's more on, oh, she should have moved there. And let me tell you, that same person to this day is struggling financially. 12 years later, they are still struggling. She's been encouraged to, hey, move out here. Cost of living is cheaper. You can get ahead. You can get your own apartment, what have you. She refuses. Now she no longer lives in Georgia. She moved to California, which didn't make any sense because you were barely making it in Georgia, but then you moved to high-priced California. But she moved there. She's struggling, ended up homeless, may become homeless again. But she'd rather do that than move to where someone you know has moved and has gotten on their feet and made a better life for them, become self-sufficient. No. And other people in my family to this day, because I have family that live in Maryland. My mom's side of the family live in Maryland. And people, like, oh, when y'all coming home? When y'all gonna move back home? And at one point, my husband and I, we were planning on leaving North Dakota. We were looking for other places. Okay, where can we live? What would be a good place to live? What's safe? Where are we gonna be able to afford a house? And plenty for jobs. But then one day I was sitting and I was talking to my cousin, and I said to him, when you gonna come to North Dakota to visit us? You don't have to come in the winter, because we know winter could be, you don't have to come in the winter time. Come in the summertime. You know what that joker said? I'm never coming out there and visit. But this is the same person that was crying and talking about, oh, when y'all coming home? I miss my family. When are you guys coming back to the East Coast? You should move back to here. But you won't even come and visit here. I didn't even ask you to move. I asked you to come and visit. But you won't even come and visit. So you want people to rearrange for you. And that's what I said to myself. You know what? I'm not going to be pressed on moving because family or friends. I'm going to do what's best for me and mine. For me and mine. Because obviously, some of these family and friends, most of them, it's not a mutually beneficial relationship. They want to give, but they don't want to get. Even my family that lives in Florida, none of them have come out here to visit. They always say when my parents go back or talk, oh, when y'all moving back to Miami? Y'all too far. When y'all moving back to Miami? Y'all too far. Move back out here. Not one time have they come out here to visit. Not once. Because the majority of them don't even have money to get a plane ticket to come out here to visit, because they're living check to check, barely getting by, scratching and surviving. Ain't no good time. Ain't no good time. So I want to encourage you, don't let your family and friends hold you hostage. If you know you live somewhere where the cost of living is high, you cannot afford it. Even if you make a high income, you are scratching and surviving to get by. Consider moving. You probably hear my kids in the background. Consider moving. Even if it's not North Dakota, do some research. Find out where you can get a good paying job, and not just one job there, but there are numerous good paying jobs, because these jobs ain't loyal. They ain't loyal. They can close tomorrow without any notice. So you want to move somewhere where the jobs are plentiful. Not, oh, this company is hiring and they pay good money, but there's no other company that pays good money. You don't want to do that. But consider moving. Do some research. Find out where the cost of living is affordable. If you're married and the two of you have income, or maybe one of you just have income and the other person is looking for a job and can't seem to find a job or a good paying job, no matter how hard they try, consider moving. Do some research and find out where are the jobs? Apply for some jobs. Find a job that will possibly relocate you, because that's how I ended up here in North Dakota. The company that I worked for, they relocated me here because, the truth be told, I didn't have 2 nickels, and that is no exaggeration. I didn't have 2 nickels, 2 dimes, 2 quarters to get anywhere. The company, they had a contract with U-Haul, so I got the truck through U-Haul. I didn't have to put any money down, and then they reimbursed for the rest of the travel expenses, tolls, hotels, gas, food along the way. But my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, if it was not for him, I don't know where I would have got the money from to get out here, even though the company was going to reimburse me, because my family didn't have money like that to help me. And if some of them did have money, they probably would not have helped me, because they weren't helping me before when I was struggling. So if you're married, one of you has a job, the other one doesn't, and you're just scratching and surviving, consider moving. Consider moving where both of you can find good employment, where the cost of living is affordable, and where you can get ahead financially. My husband and I, we bought a home here, living here, being able to make high wages, and the cost of living is cheap. We bought a home using just my husband's income. It allows us to stay out of debt. We bought a home using just my husband's income. We don't need both of our incomes in order to afford housing. We don't. Now, to be honest, if this was even 10 years ago, I probably would not have said to my husband, let's buy a home using just one income. Because, at age is supposed to come maturity. But 10 years ago, I probably would have said, let's use both of our incomes. Of course, because the more income you have, you can get a bigger house, a more up-to-date house. In most places, a more up-to-date house and what have you. But I said, let's buy a home using just one income. Now we live in a nice house, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, very nice houses, enough space for all of us. We are a family of 7 because my mother-in-law lives with us and we have 4 children. We are not crowded. We are not on top of each other. It's 2-story. It's a good amount of space, a good bit of space. But we bought on just one income. We didn't want to be in debt, living paycheck to paycheck. So we bought on just one income, and we decided with the other income, we'll use that money to buy some investment properties to use for investment for our retirement, so that when we get older, if and when we decide to move from here, we can move from here and we can still live comfortably. We're not going back to scratching and surviving. We can get ahead. And we don't have to work until we're 65, 72, whatever they're pushing the retirement age up to get Social Security. I mean, who wants to work until you're 65, if the truth be told? Who wants to be working at 72 because you have to work, not because you absolutely love your job, you love what you do, you want to keep working to keep your body going, to keep your mind going, and to help you stay young at heart, but because you absolutely have to work and have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go out there. Who wants to do that? It's a great American hustle to tell people that you work until you 65, 72 to retire to get Social Security. Now, there's nothing wrong with Social Security because if you worked, you're entitled to it. Go ahead and get your Social Security. But let's face it, Social Security is not enough money for the majority of Americans to survive. Everybody that I know that gets Social Security and only gets Social Security is also getting some other form of, I shouldn't say some other form, is also getting a form of government assistance, whether it be food stamps or Section 8 or something. Because Social Security alone is not enough. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not going to have enough money to invest for your future. So don't let your family and friends hold you hostage. Your broke family and friends hold you hostage and convince you to stay where you're at, where everybody is surviving and no one is thriving. No one is thriving, and it is harder to get on the other side of a lack. Move. The person who does my hair, she's from California, and it just so happens that her and my husband work for the same company. They work for an oil company. And she went back to California to visit her family and friends. And she's been out here 5 years now. She's been out here 5 years. Her and her husband bought a home. They're doing really, really, really well. Better than they were in California. And she was telling me that when she went home over the Christmas holiday, that her friends were like, oh, he works in the oil field. He works for the oil company now. you can move back here and he can work for an oil company here. And she's like, well, why would I do that? With the cost of living so expensive. Yes, he makes a lot of money, but if we move back here, we're going to be spending all of our money to survive, opposed to living in North Dakota. We're thriving. We have enough money to pay our bills and have money left over. She has a shop, and she's telling them, I have a salon, and I'm always busy. I have plenty of clients. She really doesn't have a lot of competition, because the truth be told, she's not the only black person that does hair out here, but she's the only professional person that does hair out here. When you go, she's on time. She doesn't have her clients waiting. If you have to wait, I've never had to wait, but she does my husband's hair too, and he's had to wait, he said, at the most 5 minutes. But she's always on time. She doesn't cancel appointments. She's never like, oh, not there. She's not talking about, oh, you got to have a deposit before this and that and all that. She is very professional. You go in there, it's not excuse me, there's not vulgar music playing. It's not, you know, how some people in our community act like everything black has to be ratchet and ignorant. That's not the case with her. And she is booked and busy. And she's like, why would I do that? If I come back here to California, yes, I have a salon. I can get a salon, but the rent on the salon is way more, and I have much more competition here, opposed to I stay there. I got my own shop. The place is affordable, and I'm booked and busy. But your broke family and friends will tell you, oh, come back here. Come back here, because we have plenty to do. We have plenty to do. We can do a lot of stuff. I mean, there's stuff here to do in North Dakota, and you can get out and travel. You have money to go and travel, opposed to living somewhere where you're scratching and surviving. You can't go anywhere. If you go somewhere, you're gonna be in debt. Or when you come back home, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, or you're hoping that your lights don't get turned off because you skipped your light bill to go wherever. Don't let your broke family and friends keep you in poverty. Keep you in poverty. If you can relate to wanting to do better, wanting to move, and you've had family and friends try to convince you to stay where you're at, comment down in the comment box. If you can relate, comment down in the comment box. Listen, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with someone that you may believe who can use this information, who has been contemplating moving. Maybe they have gotten a job offer somewhere else, and they're listening to the family and friends talking about, girl, don't do that. Girl, don't move there. Ain't no black people there. Oh, girl, maybe there are a lot of black people there, and they might not be saying there's no black people there. But, oh, girl, you don't know anybody out there. Why don't you stay here? Stay here. When are you doing that? Why you want to do that? My cousin's ex-husband moved from the Miami, Florida area to Georgia because it's much cheaper. It's much cheaper. Him and his new wife moved to Georgia for a better life, a safer life, and a more affordable life. And she was like, my family keeps saying, oh, you should come back home. When are you going to come home? And she was homesick, and she thought about going back home. But then she thought about, why am I going back there? Why am I going back to struggle? I live a good, comfortable life here. We're not struggling. We're doing better financially. Our kids are safer. And then, unfortunately, one of her friends who still lived in the Miami area, her child was killed by gun violence. I'm not sure what transpired. But all of that, she was like, I'm not moving back. I'm not moving back. And I'm not saying every place in Miami is bad, because you have the good area with the bad area. You know, that's just city life. You have good with bad. But she's like, I'm not moving back there. Why would I go back to struggle? And why would I go back to danger? It just makes no sense. Don't let your broke family and friends keep you stagnant. keep you from getting ahead. Don't let people do it to you. We even have people telling us to move back to Georgia. And at one point, we went to Georgia. We looked around at different areas and stuff. And then we said, we're not moving back here. We're not moving back there. First of all, Georgia don't pay enough money. And what my husband does for a living out here, he can lose his job today. Tomorrow, he's going to have a new job. Tomorrow, he's going to have a new job. That's just the facts. And it's going to be a well-paying job. It's going to be a well-paying job. Opposed to in Georgia, we're going to be back to scratching and surviving.
Wait.
Ain't nobody going back to that.
Yeah.
This is Daddy's. We're not going to open it.
Where's
Okay.
Daddy?
Your dad went to work. Okay. Can you give me a minute? I'm almost finished. Thank you.
Almost finished for what?
My video. I'm making a video. Okay.
Mommy,
Yes.
Can you put my number 7? Can I put my number 7 up, please?
We're going to hold the number 7 until you have your next birthday party, okay? Okay? When you go back to school, that's when you'll have your other birthday party, so you can invite your friends from school, okay?
I'm going to invite all my friends, then they can get in the pool with me.
Yes.
Okay. But there's not enough cupcakes.
We're going to have a new cake, okay?
Yay.
All right, so give me a minute, okay? That was my 7-year-old. He turned 7 on yesterday. And one of the things I do, because his birthday is, of course, in the holiday season, and school is out, is we have dinner for him. And then we have cupcakes. We invite my parents over and we have dinner. And we have cupcakes and stuff. But then after school starts back, he has an actual birthday party so he can invite his friends from school. Because my other kids, their birthdays are not during the holiday season. And they get to have a birthday party and invite friends from school. So I give him the same opportunity. We're still going to celebrate your birthday on your actual birthday, but then after school starts, you're going to get to have an actual birthday party to invite your friends from school. But anyway, that was Emmanuel. He's 7. That's my 7-year-old. But thank you for watching. I hope this video inspired you to do not let your broke family and friends, or your family and friends, they may have money, but they can't help you, or they don't want to help you, or you don't want people to be taking care of you. Don't let them hold you hostage to poverty and lack. Until next time, be blessed and have a prosperous future.